and so it begins.
Shall we begin?
So it begins. And now it begins.
So it begins.
And so it begins.
And so it begins.
Shall we begin?
Shall we begin? And so it begins.
And so it begins. And so it begins. So, shall we begin?
So, it begins.
Shall we begin?
Shall I begin? Shall we begin?
Shall we begin? Shall we begin?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to an actual. I streamed last week and I'm streaming this week. I'm trying to actually be consistent now with trying to stream. So, what's up? I've got a guest here, indie filmmaker Tim Morrill. Is that how you pronounce your last name there?
Moral, like moral of the story.
No, of course, right. For some reason, when I see double letters, I'm just like Morrill. Like I'm gonna say more.
It happens all the time.
But that's all good. No, it's funny with that intro. I hope you like that intro. I had Script Doctor on, and he was like, "Wow, that shows how Hollywood writing needs to get better because they use the same words all the time."
True, and I'm so hyped. I was like, "Come on, let's go!"
Yeah, you're getting ready. That's the point with it, though. I'm like, "Oh, it's getting there," and then the Crix is saying it. It's like, "Yeah, it's for shall we begin?" So,
yeah,
there's some. It's funny as I learn more about filmmaking. I notice a lot of tropes. I notice a lot of repetitive things, and part of me gets annoyed with some of them. The other part of me goes, "No, there's a reason why some of the stuff gets used again and again and again, and you can do them as you just saw in different ways." And you get different results with it. So
yeah, exactly.
All part of the learning curve there. But what's up, man? It's the first time that we've talked on here. You're always in the I saw on Physical Media Show on Fanzine's channel. You're always in the chat, always active, get on Twitter and everything. So first thing, people getting to know you and everything. Because you don't have a YouTube channel, do you?
Yes and no. I have a YouTube channel that I posted like some short film things that I've done on my own, but I'm not really that active.
Right.
It's you guys, like I watch what you guys do and I'm like, man, I don't know if I could have that kind of commitment to YouTube channel.
the commitment's tough sometimes, even when it comes to like making a thumbnail and putting in the details on the thing. It's like these are minor things, but it's like, can I just upload the video and it's good? Like,
yeah,
no.
well, just the time to make the video and to come up with the concept, and it's like
true,
just
true,
all that.
That's all good. But I guess so. Like one of the first things I would say, so you're an indie filmmaker. What got you into filmmaking?
What kept me in filmmaking, I guess you could say. Well, because I'm a child of the 80s and the 90s. Steven Spielberg, was like Robert Zemeckis, like all of those those films, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, all of them fed into my young imagination of like, this is an epic thing that's happening. And I originally I wanted to just be an actor in film, and that like I've always gravitated towards film, towards like when they had these behind the scenes for like Back to the Future 3, I was just like, I would run home, I would be outside playing, and I'm like, no, the Back to the Future 3 like behind the scenes is coming on TV, like I gotta get home to watch it, and every fiber of my being seems to be in the arts towards filmmaking.
That's cool. Dang. Yeah,
I mean, I sound so passionate about it.
No, you're good. No, well, it's funny because I'm the opposite. Where like when I grew up, I liked movies and stuff, but I wanted to be a sports guy. I wanted to be soccer. I wanted to be something in space. I wanted to be whatever. I wanted to be a knight at one point. That was brief, but it's like getting older. Even after I graduated, I was like kind of struggling to figure out what my passion is for myself. Like I was like when I went to college, I only went into college at all because my scholarship would expire that like covers classes and stuff. So I was like, I gotta go in now to do it. Okay, otherwise I had no like interest to. And then like I took a career sorting class or whatever that like helps you figure out what you even want to do. And all it does is get a bunch of stats and information about you throughout the courses and figures out what you're most likely to want to do. And like the highest one was 30%, and that was like a zoologist sort of thing. But I'm like, I don't have that much interest in that. That's like a hobby interest, not like career. But then at like 2015ish, I was like realizing, you know what, I like movies. I like film. I like thinking about ideas. When I was younger, I tried to write little Star Wars stories myself, which I do have some of them still around. And my God, it's atrocious to look at. But I might read those one day on a stream just to be fun, see my old horrible writing self. But I had creativity like that spark for a long time when I was younger, and then sort of manifested to realize, okay, film. There's a lot of different aspects to filmmaking, like that I thought of as a kid. And let's try to figure some of that out and pick up a camera and start doing stuff. And so that's where I'm at currently with stuff. Is still figuring out the ways, but I'm also learning. I should actually take the effort to learn basic terms, even so that when people are talking, I know what the hell they're talking about. So otherwise, I've like pretty much learned all independent, like on just on YouTube essentially and stuff. But
I mean, to be fair, like that this whole like filmmaking thing was kind of like in the back of my head. Like I really wanted to be a baseball player starting out. Like I would go out I'd practice, but like I never really made that jump to like, now let's be a part of a team, let's build up more skills. I just kind of was like, oh, it's this pipe dream that
it's fun to play, and it'd be cool to make money doing it, but that's not really where the passion lies, right?
Exactly.
I know what you mean. It's fun to do that forever and commit to this. Don't know about that. Like, I know what you mean. I felt that way with basketball and stuff too. Like when I got into that, this is so much fun, but my God, I'm not as committed as all the better players. Like
oh yeah. LeBron James showing up at 4 a.m. I ain't doing that. No,
that. just in general. I'm like, nope. I'll do as good as I can, but no, not for me. So even now, I'm trying to figure out the level of passion and interest that I'm in. And I mean, I really love the writing aspect, I think, the most personally, but I also I want to learn a lot about all of it in a way, like, because there's so much details that go into it. The more I'm like, like when we're on the Physical Media show, even we're talking about a movie, like I'm at a point where I'd call my film interest as gobbledygook, because I'm constantly changing in what I think. Like I don't have like a set. I know what I like. I don't know, because I could watch something that I think would be awful, and then turns out I really like it. Well, why do I like it? Well, was it like some of the sounds? Was it the way the story flew? Was it the characters? Sometimes there's things in it that I know I don't like, but then there's parts of it that I do like. Like even with Dracula, 1931, that I watched. I'm watching it going, this is not a movie for me, but I was appreciating a lot of aspects to it that was all right. I mean, especially even the way the actors looked. Like there's something about the way they looked back then that is different than you see on any people nowadays that I liked. I liked watching that. I'm like, huh.
Yeah, there's this I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it's this idea that they would go onto a soundstage and just kind of leave the world behind a little bit to make this movie, and then they got to live in their imagination or the imagination of the writer and director, and just kind of like do make believe for their job, and then they go out and live their lives and stuff like that. It's just kind of like I guess in a way of like not running away from the world, but it's like getting a break from the world to live in a separate reality, in a fiction, so to speak, where it was really like this, like, hey, I also like to stay inside a lot, and it's like, oh, if I'm inside of a studio, oh wait, I can't go outside, I gotta make this movie because I'm inside. I'm in the studio, stuff like that. But yeah, this romanticism with those classic films is it's still there. I still I feel it every single time I watch like one of those classic monster movies. That there was just something, just I don't know, magical about it.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel it. So the Dracula one was the first of those classics that I watched. I have not seen any of them other than that. So
Okay.
so I've got 29 more to go. When it comes
Yeah,
to
I
that.
saw. And Dracula, like it wraps up really quick. Like it's like, wait a minute, is there something cut out?
Yeah,
Like
when Dracula ended, it felt like there's still like at least another 10, 15 minutes left, but it was like
yeah,
it's over. Oh, credits? What? Huh?
yeah.
Okay.
You,
All
you
right.
know, yeah, you know, I'm not sure if you like you saw my comment, but like, you know, when you were saying that you know, you're gonna watch all these movies, I'm like, it'll be no problem. They're, you know, at least like just a little bit over an hour. You'll burn through them, no problem. They're really short.
Oh
You
yeah.
know.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to not like uh flood myself with them at once. I want to have like a variety that I'm watching because I'm not like I'm weird. Like when I don't like to watch like one genre of movie like back to back to back to back with stuff.
Mhm.
Like I want to have like, okay, here's a horror, here's a little bit of horror, and then I want to have like a different flavor of something else to.
Yeah.
So otherwise, I don't know. I'll either feel numb to it or I'll just like over fixate on it. And
Mhm.
so this way it'll, I don't know, keeps my judgment more balanced when I could see different ones at the same
That's it.
time. I'm a horrible binger. Like I am horrible at binging. Everybody's like with Game of Thrones, it took me months to watch it, even though all the episodes were available to watch. Like
Mhm.
I love Game of Thrones, but I'm like, I can't just watch everything. And there's some part of me that likes to, I don't know, tease myself of like, I'm not going to, yeah, I could just watch it right now, but
Yeah.
no, I'll wait. I'll be patient. I'll wait.
Yeah.
See the next episode, you know.
Well,
But
I kind of I feel like I'm on the opposite. Like if my interest peaks in one thing, like right now, I'm going through all the X-Men movies. I'm like, so I've been watching an X-Men movie like every night because I'm like, you know, I'm like I told you, I haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet. I'm going to
mhm.
see it this Saturday, and so I'm like trying to get caught up and remind myself about, okay, what happened in these films, and you know, whether or not it applies, I don't know, but you know,
Right.
just to kind of get myself in the mood to
Yeah.
see,
I
you know,
feel like
this
you
kind
don't
of
really
film
need to
again.
watch them to watch Deadpool 3, but it is a good refresher to get you in the mood for it if you want to. You might recognize more things in Deadpool 3 than others if you didn't watch, you know, if you watch them through, you can probably spot more references and stuff. But real quick,
Exactly.
what's up, Abomination AJ in the chat, popping in there? What's up, man? Hope you're doing good. Yeah, we're talking film stuff. He's a longtime indie filmmaker. I am a brief indie filmmaker. You've got actual credits up here, actually. I was gonna just ask you what you do as well, what you could talk about, but I was like, let me see if and IMDb actually like, you know, stores information. So why not pull
Yeah.
that up? And you've got one. You've got stuff. And
Yeah.
I was a little shocked here. So you worked on Us for a little bit as additional crew.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I
uh,
was a PA locking down streets in Santa Cruz while they were filming. And that was a yeah, that was quite an experience just to be able to stand there and see, oh, there's Jordan Peele and there's, you know, Lupita Nyong'o, and it's like, holy crap. Like, wow, this is cool.
that's tight. That's tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like I actually haven't experienced being on a film set yet, like on a real
Oh.
film set. So like, yeah, I am a little envious with that. That is cool. And like Justin Proper kept on telling me, he's like, dude, just you got to find your way to go onto one. You got to volunteer somewhere or just do something.
Yeah.
Offer a but they like to have bodies. Just
Mhm.
you know, some places love bodies, and I mean, I'm in like the Washington State area, so I assume if there's any filming around here, it'd be in Seattle or Portland. But
You,
I don't know.
you know
Like,
what's funny is that I heard that Spokane actually has some filming going on in there too. So I was like,
okay,
Spokane, really? Well,
well, all
okay,
right.
sure.
Dang. Well, no, it's kind of funny because like a lot, oftentimes, I'll hear people say Washington or Vancouver often, but they're always referring to a different Vancouver, a different Washington, or even Salem. Like there's Salem, like on the East Coast or something, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, not over my hood. No, no,
Yeah.
no. I thought there was like a lot of films that like film the around here. Nope, that's somewhere else with similar names.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, that's part of it
Okay.
too. You got to go where the work is, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's one of the things I need to get a car so I could go to the places if I need
No,
anything.
fair enough.
What's up? McDaniel right here says, "What up? Like the
Hey,
hat? Haha." Yeah. I usually have a director hat on, but I just been feeling the American spirit lately, trying to have that around as of late. Why not? Why not?
yeah.
But yeah, dude. So you worked on Us, Look into Fire. That's the one that you directed for sure on here. Is
Yep.
is this your first like fully directed? You got control to work on film.
It's my first feature film that I wrote and directed. So I wrote and directed Writer's Block. I wrote and directed Cleansing the Palette. So I had the so I'm still very much new to like like directing. Most of what I've done has been helping on other people's sets. So you're talking about like getting on set and having experience.
Yeah,
That's kind of like where that's where I've done most of my stuff.
yeah, which is good. So are you trying to? So like, what's your goal with filmmaking right now? Are you trying to get into a specific part? You said when you were younger you wanted to mostly like try to do acting and stuff, but
Mhm.
where's your current trajectory with filmmaking right now?
Right now it's writing and directing. So I got some other scripts that I'm trying to get off the ground, and or even I've if somebody has a script and they're like, yeah, I want you to direct it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let's talk, and then let's see what we can do. I'm just trying to get more experience being in the director's chair because I mean, directing out of everything is out of all the jobs seems like the one that is the most important, yet there isn't a lot of like opportunity to do it.
Yeah, I kind of know
Unless
what you
you
mean. Well, because that's an important role, it's not just an easy one to just hand over to somebody. So usually, I assume it's somebody who's really close to the project in the first place. Usually, that does
mm,
some. I would
or,
assume. Actually, I don't know. Because people, well, like you said, directors pick up scripts all the time. I mean, as far as Disney goes, they seem to have a revolving door of directors just to
mhm.
go in and out before they even finish a project. Then,
Hey Disney, pick me up. I want to do a Star Wars film,
hey,
like a
yeah,
Star Wars
you're an
film,
Indian.
like right.
Exactly. Exactly. If my signal drops out at all, I'll probably return shortly. I just seen that my connection's been going in and out a little bit, but I think I'm still
Oh
coming through on the
no.
stream just fine. But if I were to freeze or something,
Okay.
just a
So
heads
if you
up.
freeze, then I'll just match you, and I'll just freeze too. And
No, that's when you got to entertain everybody, man. That's what
oh yeah, that's true.
you got to be the host for fit.
Quick, vamp.
That's cool. So with your film Look into Fire, I haven't watched it all the way through yet. I think I'm about like half an hour into it. I wanted to, I could have kept on watching it, but I was kind of distracted doing some other stuff. So I wanted to stop to give it more my attention later so that it's not, so I'm giving it the full watch through.
Okay.
So far, I like the discussion of the premise with it over here, discussing like yeah neuropsychology sort of works. I took a psychology class when I was in high school, just one class of it, but I discovered there that that was when I discovered that I really like getting into depth with things and like what your subconscious thought does, what all these different types of things are, your perception of stuff. So I like the discussion already with it. Did you have any inspiration for coming up with the idea for this film?
Yeah, well, so Shutter Island when I was writing this, Shutter Island was like one of the main influences, and this idea was just an idea for a long time. It was like before I went to film school, I had like this idea of this kid trapped in some kind of experiment, and I was like, okay, well, yeah, it's been done thousands upon thousands of times, but like the idea still intrigued me. And then, like I graduated from film school, and then I kind of, after kind of going and going and going, I had nothing to do, and I was like, I'm gonna pull out these old ideas that have been sitting on my computer, and I came across this one, and I'm like, I really love this idea. And so I started to like find other genre, how they say, if you want to write something, study it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, Shutter Island, that's perfect. And then, I was watching like Twin Peaks at the time as well. So like I feel like those were some influences. Flatliners is another one that I've heard it's compared to. So just that digging into the psychology, the weirdness of the mind, the perceptions of what we think is real, is intriguing, because it's like there are things that I think I remember, and then someone says, oh no, it happened like this. I'm like, no, it didn't happen like this. And there's always this disconnect between what I remember and what actually happened.
Yeah.
There are certain details that I forgot, and I'm like, yeah, this is a very relevant, it's always going to be relevant as long as we have minds that are constantly
Well, yeah, I mean, this is honestly like why this is why I think, like, in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, I don't know if you saw that or not, but they step on a mind reader thing, like a mind button that like takes a memory and shows you a memory. And
Yeah.
I hated that. One is I think it's a dumb writing concept. Two, I think it's like, okay, it could be interesting if it's showing if we saw a scene before it's trying to show you a memory, but it's different. That'd be kind of interesting, but they just show a scene. And I'm just like,
Oh, okay, yeah,
that's dumb. It's stupid. It's just like, oh, like I like what you're kind of saying, where it's like, people remember it in different ways. There's always different aspects of it. I think it makes me think of when I watched. You ever see like Monster Quest? Those old
no,
those weird shows. No. So okay, so I don't mean to. I'm not comparing it to that. I'm just saying it reminds me of a lot of things. A lot of the people would say when they think they saw a creature is like, they're doing lie detector tests and other things, and they believe that like they saw a thing, and they're describing it as best they can, and that's what they got. And so it's like something must have been there, but like their imagination, I feel, almost fills in the parts that was true. And sometimes our vision's not good at night, so we fill in things anyway. And like I even just saw yesterday on Twitter, there's like a picture of something that got caught on a cam or whatever out on the woods, and it looked like something hairy standing. Its head is not visible in the shot though, so it's like just these hairy legs and arms, and people are like, oh, it looks too long to be a bear, and blah 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 blah. It looks too thick to be a suit or some shit. And it's like, it's probably just a bear though. Like, it just kind of probably is. I know it looks weird, and oftentimes we go, no, there's no way it could be this or that, but it usually just kind of is. And like there's in one of the Monster Quest ones, there's one where it looked like a werewolf. Like it looked like a werewolf thing was walking, and then it charges sort of toward the camera. And they're like, whoa, that seems weird. There's like people psychoanalyzing the movement. No, humans don't look like that. It was a human in a suit. Like it was like they were making a little short film, and they wanted to make something that looks cool. And it was a ghillie suit that they used and shit. It was just like, I don't know, like in a way like that. I feel like that's some weird psychological thing too that our mind does with us. Maybe we want things to be more creepy than they are, or to be different than what we actually experienced. Like in a
sometimes
way,
or we internalize stories from our childhood, and then we see something and we're like, well, it's got to be this thing that I learned about a long time ago, and
it's like, I feel like, having like Sasquatch or Bigfoot, whatever, like that'd be fun to be real, but like that'd be cool and interesting, but I don't think there really is one. Like, it just doesn't seem that would be likely unless you go to some remote area of China, some forest that nobody goes in or something. Maybe some version over there. I don't know.
I mean,
some of those unexplored areas, but
that's why we can keep telling stories. It's like there are still parts of the world that are unexplored. So
that's true. That's true.
You never know. You never know what's there.
That is true. Mystery is good as a good source of creation in a way, with some of the stuff to create stuff. I love space stuff. I love learning about space things, which is why I get kind of annoyed with a lot of sci-fi movies that I don't want them to be realistic, but I wouldn't mind if they took a lot of real things and applied the story to them in a way with a little bit of realism, a little bit, like learning about Jupiter's moons and like how different a lot of them are, and like the moon Europa and its huge ice caps, and what could be like they theorize there could be a giant freaking ocean 15 miles underneath the ice and stuff. Like that's a cool concept for a film if you were to have one, but I just don't think they'll really go into it that way. The movie Battleship, oh
Wait,
man.
okay. Why did you think the Battleship was going to give you anything?
No, it was more. I had no expectations of Battleship, but then
Mm.
they have some of the plot be about they're contacting space aliens. I'm like, okay, cool. And
Okay.
then like they could have. I guess one of my bigger issues was like, oh, Planet G. And I'm like, that's not a thing. You could have done like one that they have discovered with like the Kepler telescope or something, Kepler 22b or 51G or whatever, Pegasi 51, like whatever. You could have plucked like a real planet that exists that we have discovered, and like, based on what we know about that planet, come up with an idea for the creatures that you use in your film. Something like that. Something like that. You take something real and you but you form something out of it. Like, what kind of creature do you think would come from that planet if they could live, if they are in the habitable zone, they're in the Goldilocks zone of their star? What could they do? I get really into this kind of stuff. You don't have to be super realistic, but use realistic things to like, jumpstart your sci-fi and make it cool. That's where I think a lot of cool ideas could come from. But they tend to not, as far as I can tell. Some probably do, but I don't hear them talk about it like that. So it's hard to say.
Like one of the things that I always appreciated with I guess films of the 90s, whether or not it was true or not, was that I always felt like I watched a film and I came away learning a little something about whatever the subject was about. It's like there was always like a scene where they were like, there's the blah blah blah, what is that? The blah 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 is the blah blah blah. Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I learned something.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, you learn some. I've learned some things from films too, oddly enough. Then okay, I know what you mean.
But now it's just like you can't learn anything from watching.
Well, you can't be sure anything they say is true now as well if they try to. Like,
True.
did you know blah 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 blah? It's blah 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 blah. I don't know. It's coming from you. I don't know.
Yeah,
hard to say now. But yeah, I love that kind of stuff. But real quick, I got a question here from McDaniel. He says, do you guys think Disney chooses directors based on merit or quotas?
I don't know. It always looks like quotas. It always looks like a quota.
So for me, it's hard to know what their true intention is because we always only see what they show us, what they choose to show us all the time. So I don't know what they really do. Behind the scenes, they could be like, well, this is just the current marketing style gimmick that we're going to use, and we're going to drive it into the ground and then do something else again. Like that seems to be how a lot of Hollywood ideas work, right? You're like in phases of some kind. You use the shit out of something for a while, and then something else will take its place later. Like whether it be zombies or alien stuff. If we're going that westerns, superheroes, whatever. I mean, I feel like in a way they do want to do quotas because of just how current people, they think their audiences care about that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Well, but it's
hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, there's
100%.
been plenty of stories of a director who had a successful indie film, and then they are given this big blockbuster, they get snatched up, and it could, like, their agents just are great at selling them, or there's a hype around a director, and so Disney wants to snatch them up and bring them in.
Ryan Johnson was kind of one.
Yeah,
didn't have too much. He had like Looper or something under his belt, and that was about it.
I mean, to be fair, when Ryan Johnson was announced to direct Star Wars, I'm like, this could be really great. Like Looper was pretty interesting. Brick was really good. And so I was like, yeah, go for it. Why not? Right. And then I don't want to say that The Last Jedi wasn't a interesting film to watch, but afterwards I was just like, there's no story threads at all left with this should have been the third film, not the second film.
Yeah, which that was his intention apparently. So that was quite succeeded. But like I feel like they hired like somebody like him based on what they would say was merit. And then
Yeah.
maybe like whoever made the Acolyte, I forget the names of some of the people who did that. I feel like that's quota, but there could be what they think is merit. I don't know. Some of these people have only worked on a couple of things, right? And then they get a huge project, and I feel like that could be. Could that be somewhat like a draft thing where you think, oh, you got you pick like 10 people, you assign them all to make something. Maybe like one or two of them will actually be really talented. Like maybe.
But then the Disney system that wants to have control over the it's McDaniel. It's such a complicated. It's like yes and no and yes and no.
That's what I'm kind of getting at, because like as much as our sphere talks about Disney all the time, I don't know how many people actually know the like actual inner workings of Disney as a company, and I don't know how one can really understand it anyway, because it's so big and it owns so many things. It owns Pixar, it owns Marvel, it owns like it doesn't even own ESPN or something. It owns like National Geographic. It owns
So
all
many
these things. Star Wars. It owns all these things, and it's like I don't really understand Disney at that point when it's that big, and it was just a kids company sort of thing, family movie company. Like I don't know now, and like it has theme parks. Like I have no idea what it would be to make decisions at that company. Like what exactly it is. I imagine they there's got to be a mix of merit and quotas, I would think. Or maybe when they're looking at who's qualified, they're like, all right, which out of our who can we pick is the most skilled that also meets a quota? So if there's somebody that doesn't meet their quota that has a little more merit, they might not pick him to pick somebody else. But I assume they still want to have somebody that has a lot of merit, because otherwise, I think they even know you can't just pick a Joe Blow and then you're going to be good. Like I don't think they want to go bankrupt. As much as it seems like they want to lose money all the time, I don't think that's actually their goal.
Yeah.
So, I don't think that's really their intention to lose money, but I don't know. Next question, he says, have you guys heard of the term prosumer?
Prosumer.
I have not heard of prosumer. It was a term I heard growing up to describe the tragedy of cultural phenomena like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, Doctor Strange, etc. Is it essentially the idea that the consumers will become the lore masters of the world that the creators established and inevitably continue the production of the product at a level higher and more true to form than we have ever seen in the reproduction of art? There's a lot there, my friend.
There's a lot. The term prosumer I always associated with like gear. Like you can buy a camera that's prosumer. It means like any Joe Blow can pick it up and use it, kind of thing. So I always associated it with like just electronics. So in terms of like the cultural, I don't know. I've never.
Prosumer is a term you heard going up to describe the trajectory. I think I said tragedy before. Trajectory. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, so my bad. Trajectory of cultural phenomena like Star Wars and stuff. I don't know. He said the idea that the consumers will become the lore masters of the world, they create and establish, inevitably continue the production through that. Like, do you mean like in terms of fan films or something? I guess I'm not exactly sure. What you mean, because you say like ever seen in the reproduction of art. So I assume you mean that they take the information that are given, like somebody makes a film, or they make their franchise, but the fans of it, like certain consumers, prosumers, take all the information that they can and they make something better out of it. I'm not exactly sure what you mean though, because like I know there's a lot of people that make like fan films that will like do something the way that they think should be done when they see something horrible happen with their characters or something, because that's what happens all the time. They take, like, Hollywood will take a character and then do something horrible with the character, and that's awful. I don't know what a prosumer would be in that case.
But with Lucasfilm, from what I remember, they wanted people to take the characters and make fan films and stuff, and George Lucas was all about that. Like, yeah, go make more Star Wars. You know, that's fine. Um, so yeah, uh,
Yeah, I agree.
I think well, you know, let's kind of you know go with this, that it like being able to take the franchise, fill in the blank, and being able to make your version or to take these characters and to play with them, like that actually seemed to excite the fan base even more. And then
Yeah,
like with Star Trek, it seemed like Warner Brothers was starting to pull back on that, or they had a restriction on it, and so it kind of stifled the excitement around Star Trek, because they were like, well, only, you know, only Warner Brothers only can make Star Trek now, you know. And it's like, well that's no fun.
right.
The fans
That's
want to be
not a
involved.
way to have your fan base be, essentially.
Yeah.
I think with Star Wars Theory, and when he was trying to crowdfund for his fan film, I feel like at that point it was just discovering what are all the legal terms of like making money on technically using characters in an IP that somebody else
Mhm.
has.
There is
And
that,
so
yeah.
with that, you pretty much learned like you can't, you know, say that you're crowdfunding for a Star Wars fan film. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying you're crowdfunding for a fan film or
Yeah.
for a project or help his channel out or something. Just
Yeah.
you can essentially change it. You can sell merch that that you make, as long, I assume, as long as it's not just here's Darth Vader. Like you have to alter it in some way to make it a little more
Yeah.
personal toward your project, and then I think that's okay
Yeah.
technically, especially if
It,
it's known as a parody or a homage. It's whatever. It's not. They know it's not the direct IP that is releasing it. Then I think it's fine.
yeah. If it doesn't if it doesn't infringe on the original IP, if it doesn't take any money away from it, then
Yeah, that's
you know it
essentially
should be
where
fine.
that comes
Yeah.
from. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so in that case, people are able to make even some money on some of the fan films, or when they post it on their channel, they can monetize it. Or sometimes they choose not to, though, because they use sometimes when they use like copyrighted music, well, can't really monetize that, but you could still
Yeah.
get donations, you know, and do live streams later, super chats, whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
people show support.
I have to give a little credit to YouTube for at least have like whenever I've uploaded a video that had like you know copyrighted music, and they're like, well, do you want to put in these alternates? And sometimes the alternates work just fine.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, so sometimes you're so committed, like this song works perfect for this scene or for this
Yeah.
moment. It
Oh
does
yeah.
everything I want it to do, and then like you upload to YouTube, and they're like, yeah, no, you can't do
Nope.
that. It's like,
Yeah, YouTube has improved their music studio system and their music detection systems, where instead of just saying you're shit out of luck, bro, they
yeah,
give you options, and they have a pretty big library of different like songs to choose from, or music to choose from. Some that is similar to some songs that you might know, and
exactly.
they're different enough, and they're not, you're not going to be copyrighted on it. They do detect your song in there and will show up like in the description, but well, I like the option too, how like if you do have a song that does belong to some people, they do have the option where the owner of the song has it, where you could share the revenue,
Mhm.
essentially, instead of
Oh, that's
just
cool.
they get
Yeah.
the revenue, which that's a big upgrade feature that is like,
Yeah.
finally. So that's an option we wanted for a lot of things. Like, okay, if you're gonna copyright my thing, you know, even though like, you know, that the portion I'm using is only this much of the project, while my project is this big, why should they get the whole cut for the whole thing for that little bit? There is a revenue sharing option for, at least with music,
Oh,
now.
that's good.
But
That's
I'm
cool.
hoping they apply that to like the video making in general, because that gets annoying as shit too when they recognize visuals and claim that when it's just
Y-
like, guys,
Yeah.
seriously. So they are improving
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. But yeah. You know, listening to some other YouTubers, and they're like, well, I'm supposed to have a video. I'm waiting for it to clear. Oh, it's like
Yeah.
all that nonsense.
Yep. Yep. He says what drew me to Rook was that he seems to be a fellow aspiring prosumer. Well, if that's what I'm doing, then I guess that's what I am.
A
guess so.
prosumer hobbyist, maybe? I don't know.
Possibly. It seems big corpos have purposefully stopped prosumers from entering the field at higher levels. Possibly. So I guess that context makes it seem like somebody who's like really into whatever franchise, they tend to not be on the projects, which that does seem to be true as far as we can tell. With especially Star Wars and stuff. Like it's like people who really know what they're talking about aren't able to make any of the top decisions or anything at those places, which yeah, I mean, I guess what the key thing would maybe to be I'm a really good filmmaker, but I'm also secretly a really good, lore guy. And then you could on the set maybe into instead of saying, "Oh, I know this because of this," use your knowledge to manipulate where it goes so that they actually show respect to the property. I mean, maybe.
So it's kind of like being on jury duty. You get a meeting and they're like, "Do you like Star Wars?" No. Great, because we have a Star Wars film that you would be perfect for.
Yep, there you go. You can go undercover. We got to utilize the system there. That's actually where my buddy Black Angus Reviews. He said like you've probably heard about Gina Carano and how like she was treated with stuff and how she left Disney. It's like my Black Angus suggested he's like, well, she maybe should have bit the bullet at the time and be like, oh, sorry, blah blah blah, all these things that they wanted her to do, and then stay on for their projects for a little longer, be more in some of the Star Wars things, whatever, establish her name and face more with the brand, and then do a heel turn. Like do where her word and her like choices will be harder for them to separate from, where it's like, oh, she'll have gained an even bigger fan base from Disney, and they'll see how she is. And then if they try to, kick her off because of her opinions online or something, like that's going to be a lot harder for them to do. But she left so soon when she was barely in it. It's, the influence wasn't as much there necessarily. She still got a big following from people that aren't fans of Disney right now, but I feel like maybe she could have done more to like for the cause if she bit the bullet at the time, was his suggestion. But who knows?
I don't know. Who knows?
Alternate timeline at that point. But yeah, he says they will naturally become the highest level people to take the reins of the franchise of the production level. Yeah, I mean, we wish that's what it was. That like people that really know the material would be at least the secondhand informants to the directors or something. So whenever you're making a film, is there a name for the people that you try to like have accuracy on anything? Like when you're talking about psychology, did you have to talk with anybody who's like professionals in that field or that knows about it very well, or the machinery that would be used, or the terminology?
So when I was finished with the script, I sent it out to some people who are psychologists or they're psychology adjacent, just to have them read it to see if it was accurate. Jackie Dallas, who is the star as well as producer on the film, she actually was a doctor before she even wanted to be an actress, and so she knew that world so well. She had for the scenes with the like MRI, she was just like, okay, this is how it usually is, but because of what the scene is, we can do this and that. So she was good at saying, okay, well, this is the reality, but we're not necessarily dealing with reality, so we can do this. So yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
It's always good to have a consultant, just to like somebody who is in this field. Will they mind if we do this? And kind of weigh the pros and cons of it, because I mean, like as great as it would be to be as accurate as possible, sometimes that's really boring.
I agree, but I think it's good to at least know what the base is and then go, okay, we're going to take a step to the left, but we know where we're taking it from. And, that way it's not as jarring anyway when people see it. I think people get, rather than just, we don't like in She-Hulk. I don't know if you watched that or not. I mean, I watched it because it's a shit show that's funny to laugh at, if anything. But like they didn't know anything about law or court at all, like not even a little bit. And it's just like, wow, like you guys didn't even like watch Legally Blonde or anything to learn or study anything. They just, I don't know. Here's a few words. It sounds like it's from a court. I don't know.
I was out after the third episode. I was like,
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't.
That one, yeah, that was a horrible show, but it's kind of funny. You probably know by now on the Physical Media show, and you watch me there. Like I do tend to watch a lot of bad things, but I learn a lot from the bad things too. I learned how to definitely not do something, or how an idea that hey, maybe I should could give that a try. No, sometimes you don't need to. No.
Well, I mean, I think the problem that we're all having in fandom is that there's so much money. There's no reason why this should be bad because you're spending so much money. It's like if you're watching a low budget independent film and it's not the best it could be, you're like, there were limitations. We'll give them a pass, maybe not a full pass, but like something. But it's like when you have all the money in the world, it's like there's no reason why this should be bad at all.
Right. Well, then it's like, so they're probably also given a time constraint, but the time constraint's like what, 2 years? That's a big amount of time when you have that much money usually, when they have millions of dollars. Like,
and then with Marvel, they kept changing their mind. So it's like, okay, you're already like cutting yourself off at the knees, and it.
Right.
Well,
it's
so
like
many headaches.
Well, it's like what House of Dragon and Game of Thrones, like with their settings and with like the effects they have on the dragons, like whatever their budget is, I feel like they spent the budget on making the settings look as like good as they can for the time period it's supposed to represent, and making the dragons look as good as they can. Only sometimes do like the fire, like sometimes when they breathe fire, that looks a little wonky sometimes against certain backgrounds, but other than that, it's like mostly really solid and like looks really good. And it's like they not only had whatever budget, but they seem to really take their time compared to other ones that they release. I can't imagine releasing a movie where it's like, okay, you got to do it by this date. All right, if we had to have the effects guys like pretty much not finish their job and then release it, it's like, really? Like, you couldn't give them an extra couple weeks to like really patch things up? Because that seems to be a lot of the reason why Marvel stuff looks so crappy, because the VFX guys don't have enough time to do whatever edits they need to. And with what little editing experience I have, not with animation specifically, but I mean, I have tried to like, have like a fire effect, and I use a stock one that I can get from productioncrate.com when you go there. But like even that, like you have to make the motion, you have to line it up with your hands, you have to line up a sound effect, you've got to, there's a lot of different things that go into just lining something up properly and then making sure it flows right, goes the right speed. And it's like just that's just with a simple stock one, as to where they usually probably have to create the effect from scratch. And every frame has to work well as well. So
or you might be surprised that some of those are just actual, like they just actually light a fire
true,
on a green and put that in.
True.
So if you think that is pressure, have you seen I think it's called 5 Days to Air, which is the making of a South Park episode?
I was about to say I feel like I've seen that, but I'm not. They talk about the Human Centipede episode in that one, and how they went to the gala like on mushrooms or something, and Jennifer Lopez or some shit. I've probably seen that one, but I need to rewatch it because I don't remember enough of that documentary 5 Days to Air. Was that like 2011-ish or something?
Probably, yeah. But yeah, just seeing them go from like no idea to like a full episode within a week. It's like, and then they have to keep doing it. It's like, wow.
They have their burnout. Well, yeah, I love that. And even in one of their episodes where they're like news reporters for their school, and they're trying to come up with ideas, and they're like, they're not doing very well. And then they get high on cough medicine, and then they realize that kids are high on cough medicine, and that's why they like Craig's show. And then they do a super good report on it and everything. And then the guy's like, "Oh, right, that was a fantastic episode. Now I hope next week's even better than that one." They're just like, "Nope, we're done. Bail, bail, bail. Nope, Never mind. Like, just I feel like that was them representing how they feel writing things sometimes. Just like you just don't
Probably.
have an idea every day. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's
I
not
I
how
feel like
creativity works.
well, do you know Epic Rap Battles of History, that YouTube channel?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, regardless of what you think of them and their stuff, like I appreciate them. I did a lot of research into them, and I've even talked with them a little bit before. And like they started out like doing, they were like a part of, I forget what the name of the company was, but it helped. It was a company that helped a lot of YouTubers get provided like studio space within a small area or whatever, so they were able to have a better production essentially for a lot of their stuff at the time. And eventually they even worked for Disney briefly through a subsidiary of one of their companies, and then but that was very brief, and then they went independent. But they used to post videos monthly, once a month. They'd have to they'd have to do all the research for both of the characters. They'd have to figure out what characters they're going to pin against each other. They had to figure out all this research and backstory about them. They had to figure out like what the lyrics are going to be and what the back and forth is. They had to come up with the music. They'd come up with costumes. They'd come up with who's going to play them, who's going to do them. Yeah. All these different aspects that come into this. A lot of work to go into a 3-minute video, basically, and every month. And that they did this for a long time. But then when they went independent, and it's based on their Patreon, their patrons that fund them, they release a video maybe once or twice a year, maybe 3 if they're really able to do it. But they guarantee at least 1 a year, if not like 2 or something. And they're trying to be at a level where they can have that they're working on multiple ones at a time, getting things going, so that at some point it will feel like there's a more frequent release date. But like they're learning a lot of new technologies, like different VFX. They did for Godzilla vs. Kong. They were learning a lot of how to do that, and it'll be easier going forward now that they've done that. But that took them a lot to do that alone. And it's like point is they feel so much better, and like their production feels better too, watching it to me, like that they care so much about these ones that are putting a lot more time into compared to a lot of the other ones where I'm like, they're fine, but like I wonder how much better they'd be if you had an extra couple months to make those videos. Like what would change, and would they change anything? They seem to be happier doing it at the pace they want, a week to week or month to month. Like,
true.
Man,
well, I mean, the fun part about those videos was that they were kind of like low budget, goofy,
a little bit. Well, and they're still low budget, which is good. But they have the time. The thing is, they have the time to put the effort into the lyrics, into the research, into finding who they can do to be in it, or make the art, make the costumes, and do whatever. They're not rushing themselves to get it done in a month. So like they're able to put the effort in there. That's good, and affordably too.
Yeah.
He says the prosumers would be the fans that would honor the original framework and would be like the people that keep it within the boundaries set by the original creators while expanding, unlike what we see now. I mean, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. That's what we all want. In the alternate universe, that's what's happening. Yeah. You're getting Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, all these different ones are all being respected. They're all like consistently being expanded upon with what's been presented, instead of what we have now. But
I mean, we are in an alternate timeline after all. So I mean, you kind of got to. It is what it is. No,
of course.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah. What's up, Runner? What's up, Broski? He and I had like a 5-hour discussion on Deadpool 3, and we're on very opposite views. The whole physical media crew loves the movie. I had fun with it, but I don't think it's a good movie. Like personally, it's an enjoyable watch, but there's so many things as I think about it. I'm just like, no. Why? If it was better, no. That's what goes into my head while I'm watching it.
I was trying. So I was watching last night, and then all of a sudden, Greg is like, "Oh, at the end, so and so shows up." I'm like, "No."
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure that they were going to spoil everything, but they wanted to really talk about it. So.
I mean, you guys talked about X-Men, and I'm like, okay, they're going to move on to the next pick, and then it just be.
Nope. I could feel it. They were boiling. They were boiling to talk about it, but they should have had a spoiler warning on screen or something. But that's all.
It's fine. It's fine.
But I don't think that'll ruin your experience watching it anyway. There's been a lot of things posted on Twitter and stuff, you might have subconsciously already had it been spoiled for all you know.
Yeah, and I just I love the first Deadpool. Like Deadpool 2 was still entertaining. So I love the characters. I'm gonna enjoy watching them regardless of what
Yeah.
spoilers are I know
Hugh
about. So.
Jackman's performance is Runner said this is probably the best Hugh Jackman performance, which I wasn't sure at first, but then I was thinking about his performances in the other films, and he does well in all those films, but he puts out the most like heartfelt emotions in this one, and
Great,
like, even compared to Logan, I think. And so I'm just kind of like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I have to rewatch Logan to kind of compare, but yeah. So I'm like, yeah, he actually does really pull out a lot of good acting here. So
good.
Really good shit from Hugh Jackman. He says you can learn many things from bad movies. It's exactly. I mean that's what's funny. I try to keep my mix balanced, and I try to give as much as I know that Greg and Tom especially think it's a waste of time. Like I give a lot of movies a chance, even though I probably shouldn't. Like Battle Droid and a lot of these other ones that I've brought on before, Arthur's Quest. But it's like I don't know. Even if I could find a few good things out of them, then I think that leaves hope for a lot of directors that aren't very good at the time. If they keep on trying, where can this work? Where could their work take them in the future if they keep on going? So I don't know. There's some aspect of that because I look at my first thing I made, the Rookie's Quest trilogy. That was like my first big thing that I made that got a lot of attention. That is awful bullshit. I don't know what the fuck I was on, but everybody loves it. But that was mostly because I got like a lot of YouTubers into it. I got 130 cameos from YouTubers to be in that little series, cameo in it in some way, shape, or form. Mind you, most of the cameos are just brief dialogue, don't say much. The majority is people going, "Here's my energy, rookie," and I make a shitty effect that they give me energy, and it's like, okay. I was doing like a Goku spirit bomb, like, all right, everybody, we're gonna come together, and everybody's gonna help in some way to win. And, I don't mind that aspect, but I feel like I could have made that better or funnier. Like, I've thought about redoing it, but I'm like, I can't. It's hard to unite people nowadays. Like literally, YouTubers are so fractured from each other right now. Like, I don't want to think about that.
So one of the first films that I worked on was with a friend of mine, and he had made this film back in high school, and he was like, "Hey, I really want to just I want to add one scene to it," and I was like, "Okay, fine, yeah,
you can't just
I'll
add
help you do
one
that."
scene to it. No, your brain will want to add more and change things, right?
You beat me to it.
No.
So we do the one scene, and he comes back. He's like, "I think I need to rewrite this entire script."
Yeah.
And so we refilmed the entire thing, and we didn't know, we knew a little bit about how to make a film, but it's just like it just took us forever. We were just like making this feature film, and
you're just making a new film.
Just making a new film.
A new film. Yeah, exactly. Which it's kind of funny because that's kind of how like the Fat Speedster came about in a way. Like after the Rookie's Quest trilogy, there was a big. I started to do some stop motion stuff. I was doing some stop motion at the time too, a little bit, but I was so limited in what I could do with stop motion. I didn't have action figures that are that able to move like that. So I had tomatoes at the time. That were my characters, and I had like I put a white mustache on one, and I had Tom voice that, and it would sound like a Miyagi kind of kind of guy. I had a bunch of other YouTubers voice characters too, and I gave them names like Tomothy and Tamela and whatever, just a Tom in the front, and then whatever else at the end, Tomaticus, different names for them. I gave them little lightsaber swords, sort of. They're like the olive, they stick into olives or something that are like little swords. And like drinks or alcoholic drinks or whatever. Those I stick those on the end, and they're like little lightsabers. Those little pizza triangle circular things that you put in the middle of a pizza sometimes to buffer it from there. I made those. I painted those and made those into shields. I had little flags. It's like that was the best I could do. But like I was trying to do that.
I gotta see this.
You haven't seen
it on your channel?
Stuff? I might play a brief bit of one here for you if you want to. But no. So and then I was working on the next trilogy I was going to make. It's going to call it the Rookie's Legends, And then I was getting YouTubers together again. I was going to try to make it like the grand finale of like cameo appearances and like but having a better story was the idea and all this stuff, and more character things, do more interesting film stuff. But then COVID hit. And then I thought that there's going to be more people available to film, but no, because they all had to do work at their houses and have their whole families around all the time. So like the availability for people to film anything realistically just dropped. And
surprisingly it dropped. Everybody's home.
I finished the whole script and everything, and I was just kind of crushed at the end. I was like, oh man, I can't continue to make this. So I had to decide to drop it and cancel it at one point. And then from there, it took me a long while to like get back in the spirit of filmmaking. So I filmed 15 minutes of a short script I wrote up called The Fat Speedster at the time with it. And then but then I was like, you know what? I could, I was trying to dip my toes back in the water. I could make this a little longer and see if I can get an actual, a couple people to be in this. Not that many, like keep it to like 4 or 5. And then I did, and that became Fat Speedster season 1. So now
I have to give you credit for knowing how many episodes, or like you plotted it out. You're like, it's going to be 5 episodes. It's not going to be this ongoing thing, or it is going to be ongoing because like, after episode 5, it's like, no, there's more. Dude, that Speedster needs to come back and rescue a Tabitha.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I only plan to do one final thing for it. I don't plan to have like a continuing long storyline of events. Fat Speedster season 2 I'm working on right now with everybody. I've gave them all the scripts, so they're all reading it, and they're going to start filming soon. I've got to lose a little bit of weight, and then I'll start filming soon. That's going to be 7 episodes, and then that'll be the last of the Fat Speedster stuff. So this will hopefully be like a better version of season 1 with the way events progress and stuff, showing skill. Because that was me dipping my toes back in, and hopefully it'll come up even better now. But
spot on. We were spot on.
4th round of reshoots. Saying, no, geez. I don't know what he's referring to specifically there. Oh, himself maybe, because he's working on some stuff right now.
Oh, okay.
He's in film school right now, and he's volunteered on quite a few projects, helping buddies out and stuff. So
cool.
He's got a lot of stuff. I appreciate the grind he's doing at his young age, him getting into film at that level, but also coming up before that, like chatting on YouTube and learning it this way and all that. Like he's gonna be the best of us, I think. In 10 years, he's gonna be fucking, the top dog indie filmmaker, I think. I think, once he gets the experience under his belt.
Yeah, you got the energy, go out and do it now.
He's got the energy. Yeah, that's the other thing too. He's not fat, so he's got a lot going for him to start. I mean, that won't be a distraction, is what I'm saying. Like he won't be as easily tired.
His name is Runner Blaze. I mean, I figure he's pretty fast and he runs a lot. So
exactly. Someone over on X spoiled almost all the cameos for me. Yeah, there's some people that spoiled the movie on X there. Yeah. Rook knows.
The Rook knows.
Yeah, so I'm not referring to myself. Okay, he's not referring to himself right now. Well, okay. You never know. Before I show anything from myself here, though, I will ask you though. So what else are you trying to get into? So you got your film looking to fire. Do you have any other projects that you're working on to direct right now that you can talk about, or anything that you already said the direction you're trying to go, being directing and writing anyway. So what else you got?
Well, I got a comedy about 2 brothers who own a bar, and they have to dispose of their entire supply of liquor by the next morning before their business is considered to be illegal. And it's called Dry Sunrise. And so I'm raising money. I need a bar location anywhere that will allow me to film an entire feature film, without it being too expensive. But that's kind of like that's the big next thing that I've been working on. And then, just kind of still trying to develop more scripts. It's kind of, you kind of put your irons in the fire, just like, okay, I got this, but if that doesn't work out, then I got this other thing that I can jump onto. And just trying to keep things multiple projects going a little bit at a time until one hits, and then like I like switch my attention. It's like, this is the one that has progression, let's go here, so
It's not a bad idea.
yeah.
What would you say it was called again? What Sunrise?
Dry Sunrise.
Dry Sunrise. Well, I like that premise. So yeah, comedy, that sounds good for it. They got to get, how are we going to get rid of all this alcohol before sunrise?
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Is there like an amount, like a length that you have in mind for it?
I would like for it to be like 90 minutes, because comedies really thrive on 90 minutes. Like
I would agree. In my experience, anytime they're longer, I'm usually like, even if some things are funny, even if they're funny still, I'm like wanting it to be over. Like, where's the resolution? Let's go. Let's finish it up.
Judd Apatow, we're looking at you.
Yes. He's referring to the reshoots that Marvel and other companies do that Tim was talking about. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Getting a location booked to shoot is a pain in the ass. I was going to ask about that, actually. So, like, because I haven't thought about this specifically when it comes to filming somewhere. If you're trying to get a place, let's say like a bar, like you said, like you're gonna get blank bar, and you're gonna film there for however long. Like, let's say it's gonna take a few months. Let's just say you're gonna. Well, would it take when you have a location? Do you try to get literally all of the scenes that you need to film there done in a couple of days or weeks? How long? Because I imagine that you can't afford a few months usually, especially in a project. Because I'm trying to think of like, okay, the idea is that they're allowing you to use their space for a day or so. So they're probably going to look at their numbers on what they make per day, and you have to essentially compensate them for taking that time, taking that business up essentially. And that and probably a little extra on top of you're able to use some of their alcohol or use some of their like stuff there, and if you break anything or whatever, like I assume there's a couple of extras,
insurance, and then paying for possibly an employee to be there while filming is happening, all this.
I'm imagining the bill piling up just to use a location. So I imagine you try to get those filmed as quick as possible. I imagine.
Well, with Look Into the Fire, we shot 15 days, which was pretty intense. We did have breaks, like we would shoot for like 5 days or whatever. Then we'd take the weekend off, another 5 days, stuff like that. What we used for most of the locations were just like Airbnbs, so that was kind of nice, because it's just like you rent out the Airbnb and then you're there. You have usually full control over the location, and you can doing the block shooting for each location makes sense for a small production, because like if you have the location, shoot all the scenes that take place in that location and then you move on. It'd be great if like there was a location where like, oh yeah, we'll just come back to it. If you have somebody's house that you could possibly do that. If a good friend of yours, or it's just like,
or like some type of warehouse space that you own or something somebody owns, you can use or build the set in, and it can remain there for a little while or something.
And that's the big thing. I'm just like, dang it, why did I set this in a bar? And dang it.
Well, that's just kind of funny. So like for me, I haven't had the option to like go to that many locations, because I'm like, I people have even said like, you can like, hire a cameraman somewhere. You can hire people to help you out with some things pretty cheap a little. And I'm like, well, maybe, but like, it really depends, like, especially the way they charge. And I'm like, I can't right now, when on a Subway budget, that being where my paycheck comes from, I got to be the cameraman. I got to have a tripod and figure it out. If I'm lucky, I can get my buddy Aiden, who was a coworker of mine, and then I convinced him to make a YouTube channel. He lives like an hour or two away, and he owns like a little plane, like a little private airplane, so he can actually fly here in minutes. Essentially, it's very like, nice. All right, he could technically be a cameraman for a little bit, but it's only with one character essentially that's with. And and so like you saw yourself, like I play different characters in the role. like in the stuff, and it's like I'm trying to perfect that with just one camera, and I'm trying to learn, because this frustrated me a little bit too with my own short films. I'm like, well, I'd like it to get real up close to my face, or to zoom out, or to do whatever, but I can't make that effect by myself, so I have to try to figure out a different way to shoot it that'll still be interesting, even though the camera's holding still the whole time and it's a cut.
I mean, you could do that in post. I mean, if you needed to work around doing it in post with like scaling, like what's it called? Like putting keyframes and scaling, like you could do it.
Well, yeah, I guess I'll do it, but I feel like there's a difference with the physical camera moving and doing an effect afterward. I feel like there's sometimes a difference in how that looks visually or feels. It does, yeah. But regardless, like I'm learning even from Epic Rap Battles of History in a way. They post their behind the scenes and they talk about how they make their productions a lot, and I love they're a perfect example of how to do behind the scenes stuff. There's some other behind the scenes stuff that I see from videos, and I'm just like, why'd you even post this? Like, they just talk about how much fun they had, and I'm like, oh, that's neat, but like, not really any type of information that talks about the production or how you did anything or what was a tough decision. I don't know. I want to hear about that stuff like that. That is interesting. And one of the editors described how, like, when they do a lot of scenes and they use green screen a whole bunch to hide cuts, because they do lots of cuts and transitions, they'll, do a hand motion over the front of the camera. So if they're doing a wipe effect, the hand is already covering where that is, and then whatever was in the background is moved now, essentially. And it's like, that's a really cool thing. Like that's pretty cool. I like that. And and I don't know, so like I'm learning, okay, so if I'm filming something, maybe I can learn how to hide a transition in something that I do, an emotion, so that it doesn't feel like it. Or if I am turning this way and it's gonna cut to the next scene somewhere else, have it where somebody else is turned that way, or like they're moving toward the camera, like somebody's moving toward the camera here, and then the next cut is somebody like grabbing something from off the camera, so it doesn't feel like a cut, it's a continual motion. And I don't know, like that might be less jarring. Is like I'm trying to learn how to do that, trick the mind a little to make it flow better.
Well, in general, I mean, those are great editing choices to make, because because you're right, it carries on the momentum of like, even if you're moving into a completely different scene, it's like you're just momentum carries you into the other scene. It's not like cut and then there's a like, say you cut to a doorway and then 2 seconds and then you walk in and it's like, well, all that momentum is just dead now. And then we got to get re-ramped up.
Well, I feel that way with some transitions too, like even in a way, like the Star Wars transitions I guess aren't a great example, but like they when they end the scene, they stop talking and then it wipes across the screen and then you're somewhere else, and I'm like, that's not bad, but like, I don't particularly like that. I feel like they could be more creative with the transition, and it's just like, okay, the scene is over, and now we're going to the next scene, and it's like, okay, I think he's going for something specific, but I don't like it. Like, I don't like the small nitpick is like the transitions. I'm just like, it's too obvious. The scene is done, and then you go to the next scene. Like,
well, it's. The serials of
that's what I figured. That's what he's aping. Trying to that's how their scenes are. They end and then it's the next scene as it goes. But yeah,
keep going.
Go ahead. I was gonna bring up a different question. Go ahead if you're finishing up right here.
Like with comedies, when when you watch it in the theater, it's like, oh, you're laughing, ha ha ha, and then when you're at home and you're watching that same comedy, and you can see the pauses that are kind of like built in, and you're just like, that was funny, I've stopped laughing, why are we still on the shot?
Right.
It's like, oh,
or the applause moments sort of.
It's like, oh, it was built in for the audience to applaud or to laugh or to settle down before moving on. It's like, okay, yeah.
Do you ever think about that when you're filming,
about
like including a pause or not?
If anything, kind of going back to Star Wars, the scene at the beginning when they go to Obi-Wan's, like, house, and apparently there was like so much more dialogue in that scene, and they were able to like pace it better. They cut out a chunk, or they did something, and I'm like, I'm really fascinated by those stories, because whenever I'm cutting something together, I always like, I always look at it on the page of like, well, this is the way the scene is, and this is how things go, and it's like, yeah, but you
Yeah.
can build in pauses, you can build in so many moments that it just doesn't have to be this like dialogue dump of like, so and so says this and this and this. It's like there can
Yeah.
be pauses, there can be like
There doesn't have to
uh
constantly be sound happening on screen at the same
yeah.
time. Yeah.
And that's something that doesn't necessarily have to be there during the filming of the scene. Like, you can use b-roll, you can do all kinds of things to pace out a scene better that wasn't there on the day. And so I'm just fascinated how, like, you think when they shot the scene, it's like, oh well, they shot the scene and they just cut it together. It's like, no, an editor went in there and pasted out, or
They
cut
choose
out
where to make a
a
cut,
line.
and then they choose when to
Yeah.
leave in a pause, essentially.
Yeah, or
Which I
what
think
lines
is
to cut
good.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is something that I sort of consider. So like the way that I have to film, because most of the actors are not in the same room, and when we're having a conversation, we're not having the conversation at the same time because we all have different schedules, and it's hard to do that. So when Tabitha's recording her lines and Etep was recording his lines, like
Yeah.
they're not recording at the same time together and like having it coherently happen. They're like they're talking separately, or like when the Jeffrey Bodine character is talking to him, like, yeah, that's just me recording in my garage, reading the line and saying it a few different times over and over again. And same
Yeah.
with him in his room where he's doing that. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn too, and I'm trying to make sure that they understand it too when you're recording, to not just be like 3, 2, 1 and start, like to start saying your lines like 3, 2, 1 and then start, like, have like, you don't like the pause. I think leaves room to, one, if you're having a conversation with somebody, if you're transitioning, like coming from a different scene, if you're having a conversation, they can have some dialogue spill over to you while you're on screen without you talking, and then you
Yep.
can proceed to talk and stuff, and that'll work better when splicing together this conversation that is taking place separately, that's supposed to be at the same time, essentially. that kind of helps, because
Yeah.
there's quite a few times in some of my stuff where you can tell there's like, somebody says something and somebody just, I have to cut to them, or they're already talking, but they have to cut them off, but it wouldn't make sense for them to talk now and whatever. So
Yeah.
I've learned a bit on how to try to make more sense cohesively based on how I have to film the stuff.
Well, since you were talking about terminology, like the L cut and the J cut, and I always get those mixed up, but it basically is like, okay, the audio comes in before the video, or the video comes in before the audio, and I always forget which one is which. But
Right.
yeah, exactly.
I assume the L is I would assume the L is the, what would it be first?
Hey, runner.
Yeah,
Come
runner.
on.
You're
in school.
So the audio yeah, I don't know. I don't know which one would make more sense.
I always forget, because like I think about it. I think about the two. I think about the the track for the video and the track for the audio, and I'm like, okay, well, I think that's L, or maybe that's a J. Like, I don't know.
Right.
I'll just be like, I just want the audio to come in before the video. Okay, that's what I'll tell the editor. Okay.
Yep. Just want it to come in properly.
Yeah.
He says, I don't understand everything yet. Oh, yeah, so he didn't get that far yet. He's not there yet.
Okay. Yeah.
That's okay.
Read In the Blink of an Eye, if you haven't read it yet, by Walter Murch. Such a great book on film editing, and not just like the technique, but the psychology behind it. Like why in certain scenes you cut and why you don't cut, and all this kind of stuff. It's really fascinating.
Right. Trying to see. Okay, so you want to see some of the stop motion that I've done?
Sure.
I'm gonna play a clip. This was the energy clip from the Rookie's Quest trilogy, but I sped it up a whole bunch and added just the Magna Defender theme from Power Rangers over it,
Okay.
which is a surprisingly good theme. But as a quicker version, while that's playing, I'll grab the clips. So it'll be like about a 2-minute thing right here. So you can take a look at this. A trip down memory lane for some of you with some of these YouTubers. Let's see if you recognize them.
All right, everyone. We're going to do this again. Together. I need your energy, everyone. Let's do this. Is from the Fandom Menace, Fandom Collective, YouTubers, Jeremy's, people with good hearts.
Recognize
Can
anybody?
I have a clip? I want.
Oh yeah, everybody loved being in that. There's a lot of people left disappointed because they weren't in it. But you know, you
right.
can only get 130. You know, that's
You know,
Yeah.
I know that they announced like Doomsday with Robert Downey Jr., but you know, I want to see this Avengers.
yeah, you
Put
know,
together this Avengers. No.
old YouTubers and like I don't know. There's so much division now with everybody, so it's like it's impossible to get that level again and people to record clips like that. I could probably get some people to record some, but it just wouldn't be the same. That'd be hell to try to manage and put together and gather their clips. Like I thought about it, but it's like I don't think I have the energy to try to do that anymore. A little too broken now.
I'm broken.
Yeah. But I'll show you a little snippet of my Tomato Wars, which I was parodying Star Wars a bit. But context, the tomatoes were pretty much, I thought of tomatoes because at the time, so this was like going back a couple of years now. I remember when Captain Marvel came out and Rotten Tomatoes was like, it's starting to be a little kind of shady on the site, like hiding user reviews and stuff and for Captain Marvel. So that inspired me making the tomatoes where they worship their goddess Brie Larson. And you know, they say "Oh Brie Larson" because they don't say "Oh God," they say "Oh Brie Larson" and stuff. It's like that's how they talk, and they hate the Fandom Menace and they hate YouTubers. So they hate us big time.
Okay,
that's context here a little bit.
No.
I was trying to utilize green screen and stuff, and those are the only two Star Wars ships I had. So.
Hey,
Yeah, try to use those. That's the scene.
Listen up, squad. The Larson Empire has decided to board our ship. They're after Princess Camilla. We are the last line of defense between them and her. Now, protect her at all costs. Is that clear? Hoorah!
This can't be good.
I think we have a chance. We can win.
You really think so?
Yeah, I'm sure that if we try our best and shoot our weapons in the direction of the enemy, well, by golly, we just might be able to pull off a...
This took forever to edit.
I bet. No. I like that one.
What do you think so far?
For being stop motion, I mean, like that's pretty good. I mean, I don't do stop motion, but it's just like the fact that you took the time to do stop motion with like tomatoes. It's like, I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah, I feel like people liked the concept at the time because it's like tomatoes. What are you doing with that? And then try to put in all this effort to try to make something.
Yeah.
The Darth Vader cape from a toy. I think her name was Miss. I forget her. She had like a different name on YouTube, and then and Miss Martin, Teresa Martin, from around YouTube and Twitter, they voiced these two characters coming up.
Captain Karen. I recognized your rotten stench the moment you came on board.
Captain Karen?
Oh, you
Yep.
could be so salty. The Tomato Federation will never stand for it.
Don't give me any lip, okay? I am this close to going directly to your manager, and don't act so surprised, Princess Mela. It's not like you were out for a little stroll today. You were on sacred Brie Larson borders. What were you up to?
We were simply taking the long route home, changing the pace up a bit.
You were scouting our defenses to plan an attack that you...
We've been at peace for years. We would never incite a war.
You are part of the Tomato Alliance and a traitor. Take her away.
I had like Pokemon attack them real quick because I had Pokemon toys from the attic I brought out.
By the Brie Larson, help us.
The little tomato town, a little tomato
Yeah.
town here. I didn't have much to build with. I built a little Game of Thrones throne,
Okay.
a little clock, like a clock tower. I had a little bank for a Coke machine, whatever.
Save the clock tower.
Foosball thing, little Lego houses. That was the best I could come up with for like a little thing here.
Hey.
I think I have like Nina Infinity and Lethal Lightning, and a couple people have their voices in here for this little one. I think I took like
guy into ketchup.
I took like 16,000 pictures, I think. For all
Yeah.
That's anything.
Hello.
Hey, you want to join the guys and I had to sprinklers?
That's Fancine.
Not this
That's
time.
Fancine's voice. You want to join the guys tonight, sprinklers?
Gotta work.
Alrighty, bro.
Alrighty, bro.
So were there any
Huh?
shots where you you did the stop motion and then you looked at it, you're like, crap, I gotta redo this? Or did you just like, it's done? Whatever
There's
mistakes
a
are,
couple.
are in there.
There's a couple. Honestly, I think my biggest issue was I didn't know how many pictures to take per like scene and lines of dialogue. So I didn't really have a good idea on what to do with that. Now I understand how many pictures to try to take to fill in 1 second now. And so it would look a little more fluent if I were to do any of this again, which I might do one last tomato project one of these days to like put the tomato stop motion to an end, like a little finale of tomato stop motion. Yeah, I might do that one of these days because I've learned a lot since then on what I could do better and whatnot. This is Nina right here, Nina Infinity.
Come by and help plant my children in the soil.
Maybe some other time.
He's like, let's go shack up, baby. My mom suggested, she was like, hey, can you use this in your stop motion? I'm like, what, her like coffee creamer cap? I'm like, yeah, I think I could. It's a toilet.
I noticed that you have at least one character farting in.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't like fart humor very much, but like Black Angus Reviews does, and like I know a lot of other people find farts funny, so I'm just like, you know what, I got to put at least a couple in there. It's already a goofy little stop motion anyway. Might as well have a little in there, a little segment. He's dying. This is inappropriate. Where they're positioned. Oh no, they're making tomatoes. They're making little tomatoes. I had to put a toothpick between them because the stop motion was difficult.
Bring that round here, boy.
That's Lethal Lightning. It's the mustache tomato here.
On it, sir. Yeah, just what I needed. Ah, good, yes. What a treat. That's the stuff. Nice and dirty. I'm a dirty, dirty tomato. Oh, yes. Can I go now, sir? Hold up there, Timothy. You're looking less red today. You're all right. Yeah. I'm fine. Your mum and dad aren't letting you join the commissary, are they?
If Tom's tomatoes in
Nope.
one or not.
Said that I'm deeply new
how
here.
many freaking tomatoes
Not just
you
for
got?
them, but for the alliance.
This was just episode. This was just episode 1, man. I made like 6 of these. Let's see. Tom's in episode 2 a little more.
So what'd you do with the tomatoes after you?
I throw them away.
Oh, come on.
Which it was really funny,
something.
actually. It was really funny because there was a afterward. So like after I filmed these, there was which is why I wish I could have like actually had more incentive to film after this, but I just kind of lost the motive. But when I'm done with the tomatoes, especially in the back patio, like you see here, I just kind of sweep them to the side. Apparently, I grew like 2 really good tomato plants that had like a full stalk on their vine as well. And I made a whole video talking about that too. I was going to make one where they return. I was like, man, I literally killed them in these things, but they returned. They were resilient and came back, from the dead.
Nature finds a way.
Nature finds a way. Exactly. Yeah, this was
Holy cow, man! That is one.
I think I had Mongo's Big Thanks voice Godzilla making the sounds, trying to be like that. He was a YouTuber that was around. He loves kaiju stuff. So
massive. It sounds quite hungry.
What was that?
Well, was that a POV shot of Godzilla?
No, I was just shaking the camera. Just
okay.
They're hiding from him out there, and you can just hear it shaking the camera so much or something.
Goodness, what can we do against it?
I might have an idea.
You? Yeah, right. I bet it would run away with its tail between its legs if I gave it a piece of my mind.
A footstep sound.
What is she doing?
Nice.
She's gonna get her ass kicked.
Hey, you, get over here right now. Your brutish behavior is unacceptable. What would your mother say? Is she around? No. Well, what about your manager?
She's Captain Karen, so, she's...
go and distract it while you all take it down from behind.
Oh no, but that is dangerous.
It shouldn't be too hard to stay alive in the process. I was number 2 at sprinting.
Do not throw away your life. Just to.
Oh no!
Never mind.
Run away!
Go, Timothy, go! All righty. Let us take it down.
Tom, of course, the white mustache. Always.
Don't go that way. There's a dead end that way.
Exactly. Yep. Oh no. Close. Nope.
That's close.
It's kind of funny because like when I'm filming, I'm just slightly moving a tomato, and I'm just like, is this gonna translate to anything? Like when it's on screen.
Yeah.
That's close.
Then you play it back. You're like, huh?
All right, this is good enough.
This kind of work.
It's good enough, pretty much.
That's close.
Guess how they defeat him?
They
just punch sound effects. Yep.
Take that, Godzilla.
Yay!
Yep.
We did it! That was so brave, Timothy!
Yeah, you lucky son of a brie.
So we got ourselves some proof now, right? It should be easy peasy getting home.
Well, not that easy. We would have to carry it home.
I am not touching that.
I will carry
After
it.
it touches it.
You are too weak for such a task, boy.
Hey, I'm pretty strong.
Then hit me. Still much to learn, boy. If you
We still need to find the ancient battlefield.
Tomato.
I just realized I could have been killed a few minutes ago.
When did we get into
Into
Charlie Brown?
existence and importance.
Like the
Oh, I don't believe in any of
Yeah, I don't know
There's
why. It's
music
like
from-
I need music here. I don't know what. Here's a copyright free one, and then Tom's character is giving some advice.
those old tales. They have no relevance in modern times.
Indeed. You Tomato Alliance folk have little care for history. Anyway, you can harness the power of Captain Marvel, of the beautiful Brie Larson.
What could it be?
Ah, I should have brought my glasses. I cannot see shit.
Oh my God, I don't want to die. I'm too young. I've got loads to
That's
live
a
for.
flipped
Why did you
out.
bring me on this mission? I could be at home.
Shut up, Steve!
damn, how big is this bitch?
Oh, look! They are so cute!
Pika pika, pika pika.
Ah, they're demons from hell.
What can we do against
Those
all
tomatoes
three?
are sweating.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, it's getting hotter out there too. And
Together, friends.
let's give him
Don't
a
let
bit of
him
a
get
chase
you.
scene.
It is just fat. It probably wants to eat me.
Just keep running. Keep running. Maybe
Like
it'll
that-
tire out before
It's
we
chasing me
do.
with its crotch.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shut up, Captain Curran.
how dare you?
You take that, you wankers.
Too tired.
Hey, you get away from her! Don't you dare come around! Oh shoot! I'm touching a dragon! Oh my God! This is huge! No! All right, okay, let's
Don't
get
go
over
that
here!
way.
Come on, guys! Dragon, get over here! Bet you can't. We did it, guys!
That's it. Yeah, there you go.
Not me, not me, not me. No. Oh my goodness, get them, not me.
I don't know how long I can keep this up, guys.
Hey, you wanker! I'm over here!
I'm over here.
What culture
Oh
are
no!
they?
No!
All over.
What?
What culture are they? Come here,
I
you
don't
wink.
know. I don't know. It's my old shit.
I'm not,
but-
I'm not gonna try to think about it. I'm just
Oh yeah, no, it was kind of funny because like I thought when I was making it, I was like, oh, this is a good adventure I got going on here. But then by episode 4, I'm like, I just keep on resetting them where they face something that kills them. And that's about it. There's no like real story going on. So it's did not end up as well. But
do you
I don't know
really
if
need
you're
a
up for it.
story? You know,
I don't know if you're up
like,
for it. Do you want to react to a fan film?
yeah, sure.
Quick. I know we're going on an hour and 40 minutes now. I figure this can be a way to close on out of here, essentially.
So
all right, so this fan film that we got going on here is a Logan fan film, so Wolverine fan film. So I figured that's relevant. It was released a couple months ago, so it's not spoiling anything for the current Deadpool Wolverine. This is called Logan the Wolf, a Wolverine fan film. So I figured this looks kind of cool. A little over 10 minutes long. It is by Godfrey Rekha. Always names I can't freaking pronounce. I'll put his name.
Rickowart?
Yeah, something like that.
I'm gonna get myself canceled.
You got it. Well, I couldn't even pronounce it, so you got it better than I did. They've got like 60K subscribers right there, and so let's see how many views does this have. It's got 3.3 million views. This definitely caught fire. So
yeah,
let's check this puppy out. Oh, it was like a little trailer, I guess, before it started. I was like, what?
I am wrath. I am chaos and balance. I am death and resurrection. I am Fenrir's fury.
What do you think of the opening shot so far? What do you think of the opening shot?
Oh man, it's having that fire, like, I guess backlighting him so he's in shadow. It's very, very cool. If they had a bigger budget, they could like do more with like maybe putting like a moonlight kind of thing on there to kind of like lighten, just put a little highlight on the not the foliage, but the trees around him.
Yeah, but the forest a little bit more in the background.
Yeah. But I mean, like overall, it looks really good shot to start out with.
This is good. What I look for in fan films is I want everything that we're watching to be worth our time, because it's like you have such a short amount of time to grab our attention in the first place. So it's a 12-minute fan film. What are we doing with our time? So far, 15 seconds in, visually, it's a good visual starter. And then for the character Wolverine, okay, you got our attention already. And then get his voiceover on top of it.
Balance. I am death and resurrection. I am Fenrir's fury.
You said Fenrir's fury, so it sounds like he's been around for a while, maybe he's in Viking times or some shit.
Yeah,
I'm thinking this Fenrir's, and the way he's talking too is he's got more of an accent than Wolverine tends to have, as far as I can tell. But I kind of like it if he's going for a Viking angle. Let's see if they got that. Oh yeah. Does that look like real fire to you? Let me see if I can pause on that. Does it look like real fire to you or CGI fire?
You mean the fire that's right there?
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't they just make a campfire? Like, there's no reason to
well, I'm just because sometimes they do have CGI fires in these fan films. So I'm just I'm seeing if you can tell the difference between a CGI fire and a real fire. I think it's a real fire they have there, but seeing if you can tell a difference or not.
What I'm curious is, so he's out in the wilderness. He's clearly doing some kind of ritual. For what?
some type of dance, some type of
I mean,
ritual.
like maybe
I'm not even
they'll
sure if this
reveal
is supposed to be Wolverine yet. I don't actually know that yet. We know the title's Logan the Wolf, a Wolverine fan film. You
Sure.
hear some dialogue narrated over, and then we're getting these visuals of him doing this ritual here. So let's see what he's doing.
He's summoning the wolf.
This is very intense, at least. Yeah, that going. I have no idea exactly what's going on. But yeah, a ritual of some kind, summon something, like you said. I wouldn't guess Logan off the top of my head, but you don't always need to. Anyway.
I've been waiting for you. Should I run instead? I don't run away from miserable creatures.
I've heard a lot about you. Stories are told about a ferocious war that butchers women and children, and even slaughtered 20 of Gunnar's men alone.
Gunnar's men. This is definitely in the Viking time. Gunnar sounds very old Viking-esque.
Yeah.
Name
And
that they're going for here. Their wardrobe looks good too.
Yeah. So are they painting him as a villain, or is it just these are
sounds
the
like
stories?
They're painting him as like a monster. It sounds like essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be a stories mixed with it as well. Usually Logan, whether or not he does something bad, is associated with bad shit. As much as people don't like X-Men Origins Wolverine, he, like when he's at that old couple's house, like he's there and then they get killed. He doesn't kill them, but death follows him. Essentially, is the thing, and that seems to happen all the time. And everybody he loves, when you get to like Days of Future Past, like yeah, I mean everyone. That's what's happened to him.
He brings death with him.
Yes.
Lies! Nothing more than fairy tales to scare little kids.
You guy's a good actor for that. Lies. He's getting into it.
Or the old child put a bounty on your head. And I don't give a shit what they say about you or what you've done. We are here for the money.
So, you know, some people would say that the high ground is an advantage. I don't necessarily think so, because when you jump from a height, it's predictable where you're going to land. But if you're like Wolverine and you have regeneration and shit, you're fine. But you know, if people were like, yeah, this is a good, like if people think this is a good fighting spot, it's like no, because if you jump and try to land on somebody, well, they know where you're going when you leave the ground.
But it looks so cool visually, and we all know that when you go into battle, you want to look cool.
Yes,
we all know this,
and they picked a good spot for filming here. If they found the spot in the woods, and like, all right, this is where we're gonna have it. Like it's a good little rock formation here.
Are you sure it's worth it?
Such a leader, man. It sure is.
I'm not little. I'm not comic book accurate little. All right.
I leave one of you
really
alive.
is little.
It is a little guy. I liked that. How'd they find this guy? He's got an intense look in his face, and yeah, you can do that. That's good.
Warn your sons about those fairy tales.
Get him!
I'm impressed so far how they have not cut yet from the fight at all. For a fan film to do that, I appreciate that a lot, because I imagine this took a while to film.
And I'm sure all these guys are like stunt guys who like have worked together. You know, they're just, you know, or they just practice this a lot.
Yeah, they look like they have a lot of. They look like they have experience in acting and performing under their belt like this, especially this sort of choreography. So when we finish the video, I'll look in the description and see if they have any work of any kind prior to this, which sometimes that ends up being the case. And people will sometimes comment like, "Oh, duh, these guys are professionals." Well, I don't know that until we look at the end, because I look up fan film, and I assume fan films are usually not like, you know, professionals working on them. So you never know.
I mean, what does that matter if they're professional? I don't know.
Well, I guess because of the amount of compliments we're giving them, I don't know, they might be like, well, they're professional. Well, you know, well, okay, well, then they're doing good still. And if they're not professional, even better, I guess. That's what I can do. I want to actually see that again real quick at the beginning of the fight. To get it all in one without the interruption.
I leave one of you alive.
I like that guy's scarring too on his face. Unnecessary detail, but I like that detail. And his tattooing over here, because the Vikings did have a lot of art stuff, tattoos and shit.
Yeah.
Also, the different hairstyles they have. You know, I like that detail, because they weren't as, you know, I guess nowadays they're getting a better depiction of Vikings and more material, but yeah, I don't like the ones that have them as just beast savages, because like they did do a lot of horrible shit, but they had like a culture and shit to them too. They weren't just brutes.
Yeah.
So
and it's great when through the design of the character, you like, I'm curious how we got that scarring. Like, what circumstance led to this? Was it this guy? I assume his name, the Logan guy, short guy. Like, did he do something to him? You know, like
maybe the way they spoke, they could know each other or not. Depending on what they want to do. But yeah, they have memorable looking characters already. So
yeah,
that's good.
So you can warn your sons about those fairy tales.
Get him!
Yeah, that choreography wasn't bad.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. I was, you know, especially since they didn't cut, I was wondering what it's going to look like. But when he knocked that one guy down, a spear comes in right away for like barely time for him to react to swat it away with the axe. So that was good.
I don't want to. It's not basic, but
if you want to criticize anything, you can. Don't be afraid to if you want to.
Because so like some stunt people that I know, like, you know, they'll post like their training in the gym kind of thing, and it's like a lot of what it seems like in that one shot. It's like, okay, well, what they're really doing is just like not that complicated. You know, it's just like go over here, kick, you know, punt. You know, it's just like each one is kind of like given a chance to advance to do their move and be countered, and then he moves on to the next and to the next to the next. So in a way, it's kind of a basic choreography, but I mean,
yeah, well, I would say true. It's not too complex. I mean, with what they're wearing, I imagine it'd be difficult to have like super complex fight scene in that wardrobe anyway. So it's a lot of heavy swings and stuff. Quick shot or a heavy swing, like a quick strike or heavy swing, pretty much.
But kudos for doing it in one shot. So
yeah, and then getting him stabbed in the back there. Ouch. Oh, and he used the spear to kill it, to stab that
was
guy
pretty
in the
cool.
head.
Yeah,
right there. That was good. I didn't catch that the first time. That's what he did. Nice. And then pull you in and stab there. Ooh. Nice. I like that they're getting a lot of hits on him too. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, nice face wound.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So he can die.
So much.
I don't think
for
he's
that.
dead, but still nice.
Yeah.
Take the body.
Oh, psych. He good. Yep. The Wolverine claw. That's a good reveal of the Wolverine claws.
That is really good. Yeah.
I was totally forgetting that he's supposed to be Logan. So, like, yeah duh. Like, I never thought of Logan using swords before because he always has his blades. So,
yeah, it was kind of weird that. Why would he hide? Well,
I don't think it's weird because I mean, if it's part of your culture that you use swords and wield swords, those swords are more practical to use than the claws. Really, like if you're talking about like if you were to equip a warrior with the claws instead of a sword, like that'd be kind of silly. So.
And to be fair, to be fair, like there has been those kinds of those weapons, that are like our claws. So, yeah,
true.
So,
true.
It doesn't matter that they're coming out of his hands. So
right, yeah. Look at this.
That's nice.
What?
Okay, so like, what the hell is this? What's happening?
And the strength with that to lift that up from the head up, and how small he is, lifting up one arm. Yeah. Nice framing.
Away.
I like the framing of it being a low shot where the body falls and then it just reveals them behind it, looking tiny compared to our short character here. Bloody claws from doing that. Just good.
That's very cool.
I like the frame shot. Can we leave? Can we leave? Let's leave. Yeah. All right. There you go. Ooh. That was a good sound.
Yeah.
I like that it came out. I like that it came out all slow too. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah. Have they used that sound with Wolverine before? I don't think they have. It's usually just like shrink.
Maybe, but no.
That sounds like it hurts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they use a similar sound when he has like the bone claws. But usually when they have the adamantium, it's always shlink, shlink, the classic schling sound, essentially. So I like that they went for, even if he has the adamantium claws still, to have the bone. Oh, it sounds so much more visceral with the bone sounds. With them, hear that one more time, man. That was.
Well, question.
Yeah.
Why does he have metal claws and not the bone ones? If we're, I'm nitpicking. I love. I always thought the bone claws were like really weird. The first time I learned about them.
It's a modern.
I always loved the metal ones, and it made I prefer that look. But I'm just like, wait a minute.
who in the old time? Maybe they used a ritual to give him adamantium claws. Okay.
Okay, there was that ritual. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
What kind of demon are you?
I am Logan, the Wolf.
Kill him.
Okay. Why don't you kill him, man?
Henchman.
Oh shit. Oh, I knew he was gonna do a little slash. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, his face is fucking gone. Right. Oh, dude, nice. Oh, gone. Jeez. Oh, there he goes with his intestines. My God, Francine would love this.
This would have been so fun to be on set for. Oh god,
dude, look at that! Look at his face. His reaction to that's actually a good detail of like, holy shit! Look at that!
I know it's
He's
nice when the guy.
getting away from him. He's like, "Oh, you got cooties, man. Ugh, no, thank you. Gross." That's great.
I heard about spilling your guts, man, but still.
Ooh. Ugh.
Oh.
No mercy, bitch. No
Yeah.
fucking mercy. Oh, that felt like a good wrestling move right there. You just boom, 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 boom.
Dang.
That's like a video game move right there. That feels like total
Yeah.
video game taunt. All right, I did a successful slam. Now, from time for the finisher right there. Yes,
finisher.
I mean, I'm a sneaky one now.
You don't hear him?
Oh shit! All right. Cool. All right.
Oh, very nice.
What the fuck? There's more people? Okay. I wonder if they actually threw an axe at him. Like if they on set or if that's like a prop axe, you know?
Yeah, I mean
I mean, with Viggo Mortensen actually deflecting a knife, I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
That's especially in a fan film, maybe you're a little more risky on some of these things, you know? Who knows?
Or like it wasn't necessarily a prop. Well, I mean, I guess it could have been like a rubber axe kind of thing, or you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they threw a stick that had, you know, a green screen stick at him.
Right.
You know. Of course, that'd probably be hard to animate.
I like the music getting pumped up. I like the music getting pumped up with this stuff. The sounds like punching and hitting and the nice. And the way the camera's moving around them right now, panning around it. I like that right here. Oof. And it's like, you know, we've seen them annihilate these guys pretty much, but like they're still I like that they're not giving up. They're still trying to kill these things. These are Viking warriors. They're not going to go down that fucking easy. They go down to the death, to a glorious death, essentially. So
yeah,
I like that. Ooh, that looked like that hurt. Ooh.
Wait, did his claw get chopped in half? Or no?
What?
His claw did when the axe came down. I couldn't see if they chopped his claw or if it just indented the axe.
Yes, his claws got yanked out.
Ooh, oh
man,
that's gotta hurt.
God, dang. Ugh. Yep.
Okay, so he's not invincible.
Not invincible. Yeah,
That's
you can
good.
cause damage. So I mean, that's something. If anything, you could incapacitate him or something. I mean, in some scenario, you know, with the mortal people or people like this, if you can immobilize them and like dump them in the bottom of the ocean, what are they gonna do? You know, like you can't kill them the conventional way.
Also, they haven't shown the other aspect of Wolverine, which is to be able to heal. So I wonder if he just has the claws, but he can't. Well, okay,
They showed him heal a little
came
bit.
back from the dead.
They thought he was dead.
So
yeah. But, I mean, if these are his bone claws that are in adamantium now, I mean, that was attached to his bones, you know.
Yeah.
So,
ow.
Still. But he seems to have his claws.
Yeah, it's hard to tell if he only he only has
okay,
one,
it's
one
still
claw.
off there. Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, it's the one claw. Oof. Oh, he just like, here you go. Here you go, sir. Here's your sword. There you go. I like that move. That must have been a fun one to choreograph. Like he grabs your sword, then he shoves it back into your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, hello, there you go. You misplaced this.
Make sure to tip your waitress.
Off with the arm. Oh, jeez. Jesus. What the fuck? I did not expect this amount of gore today.
Now,
My gosh.
Where does this go? I mean, we still got what, like 5 minutes left? Like,
I have no idea what the story is.
5 minutes of fighting?
These guys want to get him. There's a bounty on his head. That's been the story so far. But my God, look at this. Yeah. This fight scene is the shit, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Off with the arm. Off with your hand. Off with your face. Ugh.
Yeah.
Off with your head. Ugh. And your throat. Oh my God.
Oh wait, he does have his claws back. The hell?
Yeah, he does now. Oh. I wonder if that was continuity error. But he's healing, so.
Oh, there we go.
My God, I can still take
How
you
is
down.
this guy still alive? Come on.
I can still take you down.
You freak. Leave now. Tell your kind about me. Tell your kind a new god will soon rule. Tell your kind a new era is upon them. Go now!
I would if I didn't have escaping leg wounds there. Oh, shit. What the fuck? Oh. Brutal.
Okay, so somebody else is there.
Go now!
Yeah. I'm assuming like a saber tooth or something. I don't know what that was that he threw at him. Let's try to pause it on. Oh. His face got done fucked up.
Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Damn. He's like, what the hell? What in these Sam hell? All right. Who are you?
Impressive.
If you're here for the bounty, just look at them and see your end.
Very, very promising.
Whispering.
I've been watching you. You have something unique. That brings my attention.
What do you want?
I want you to join me.
I'm forming a team. Putting together.
Yeah, I was about to say, is this like the Professor X?
I don't think the
world?
professor would slice somebody's face off, but you don't know.
I want you to join me. Together we would be unstoppable.
No man walking these lands can slay me. What would I be doing with you?
You know, we're not so different, you and I. We share the same
We're not so
version.
different, you and I.
Repugnance of those animals. If we gather,
I don't need you. Just go home.
You might be right. It might be the saber-tooth equivalent.
That's what I'm assuming, especially if they're similar. We're not so different, you and I. I'm assuming. But his eye, I don't know if they're trying to pull from a mutant here or if they're that's like Odin-esque. He loses an eye. It's supposed to be like a Thor, maybe. I don't know. Oh, Magneto. Okay.
Magneto. See, I was close.
Yeah. I was going to say a vintage Magneto, a Viking Magneto.
Yeah.
All right. Erase all their weapons. Yep. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Bullshit.
see, I'm just like you. The god among the commons. But instead, humans call us monsters. They fear us. They want us extinct. And trust me, they'll keep hunting us down and slaughter the ones we love until all our heads onto their spikes. But we're about to change that.
Death isn't my concern, mortal. Last one.
I think those are supposed to be bone claws.
Really? Because they look
Let me
metallic.
see if I can pause it.
Isn't my concern, mortal.
I mean, I don't know. They're not as shiny as they usually are. They didn't have the
Well,
schlink sounds.
They are
you know?
bloody after all. You can see.
We'll see
Yeah,
if Magneto
they look too
clean,
sharp. Yeah, they just look too like the manufactured.
I know. I agree, but I don't know.
Last
Sound,
warning.
they didn't do any schlink sounds with it.
That's a shame. I thought you'd understand.
You're going to die like the rest of them.
Show me.
Damn.
Wow, that's it? Okay.
I mean, yeah, it was a 12-minute one. I mean, yeah, it's one of those ones where we unfortunately don't get a lot of story, but they do set you up to be intrigued with the story by showcasing what they can do in a fight with it. So
yeah,
I'll give them that. That's quite the teaser for it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? So again, in any fan film, even though it's a fan film, whatever caveats, you can criticize whatever. I agree with you on the adamantium part. If those are supposed to be as adamantium claws there, like I don't get how that happens. Oh, there's a end credit scene here. Oh shit! Okay,
killed him, or did he? Oh, that's gonna hurt in the morning.
Oh yeah. No, that little tease. Still not dead.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
No, it's really impressive. Like the quality of fan film that comes out nowadays. You know, like if you got a team and you're like, let's go out into the woods and let's shoot this like 12-minute thing. It's like, yeah, why not? You know,
bring our friends that are fucking buff and look like Vikings.
Yep.
And have their casual clothing that they have, of course, that also fit.
Yeah,
he does not own
they
Wolverine
cosplay.
or
Cosplay a Ren Fair on the weekends, kind of thing. You know?
I'm making a nonprofit story, all rights, or to Disney, whatever. Okay. Thank you so much for everyone for commenting and watching our film. We are truly honored. We didn't expect that. Just for clarifications about his claws, they are bone claws. See,
I don't
we
know.
We just made them sharper because that's how we preferred it to be design wise. Thank you again, everyone, for supporting our work. There wasn't any clink sounds when clashing with swords or nothing. It's meant to be the bone ones, hence all those different sounds. They chose a sharper design because that's what they liked, but they probably would have been more convincing if they didn't have them be that look that way.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. I mean, that's a small detail. It doesn't really matter. The short is so freaking well done. That like if you like, if that's the only gripe,
exactly.
It's
that's the only this is adamantium.
Yeah,
it's like, well, okay, thanks. I guess. Yeah, that's good. 3.3 million views. This was a great job.
They've earned that.
I hope that they make more stuff because that was pretty darn good, sir.
What else is on
good. Let's see what they got. I like to see if they're active. So yeah, that was just posted a few months ago. It looks like they've been working on that for a while, it seems, and they've got some other stuff on here.
Yeah,
a lot of fighting, a lot of sword fighting.
Yeah,
like
it looks like they are a stunt team or part of a stunt team where they're doing this all the time. So
yeah,
they were. It wasn't like they were like, "Hey, let's make a Wolverine Viking movie." Okay, I'm gonna go train for a couple months and come back.
Okay, here's a clarification. So he says, coming from a martial arts background, I'm a director, editor, stuntman, and fight choreographer. The channel presents a bit of my work, mostly done during my free time.
There you go.
he just made this on his free time. All right.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Well, awesome work. That was cool. I want to check out some more of these later. That's fucking tight.
I have to write down this guy's name.
Yeah, so can you? Yeah, I can't spell. I can't pronounce it that well. But there you go. Take that shit there. That was great.
Yeah,
that was great. That was fun. But yeah. So that was that one. Excellent. Anything else you want to talk about before we head on out of here?
I don't know.
Or anything to mention, or anything where people can find you, or
Oh yeah.
projects you think people should check out.
So obviously check out my film Look Into the Fire. It's on Amazon Prime, it's on Tubi, it's on the Roku channel. And leave reviews, all that kind of stuff. And let me know if you've seen it, and what your thoughts are on it. Also, I'm on Twitter at Tim_D_moral. That's MORRILL. You can find me there. I'm on Facebook under my name, obviously, and on Instagram with the same tag as well. So I should be pretty easy to find. I don't try to hide. I'm just like, I'm here.
I got
Go follow me or not.
Give him a follow. Check out his work. You can watch his independent film Look Into Fire on Tubi TV for free to watch. Go check that out, you guys. That's cool and awesome. Appreciate the conversation, man. This was fun. Yeah, I hope to do some more of these in the future as well. Maybe I'll have like some bigger panels too, and we can have a wider discussion as well. But
yeah, that would be great. Yeah,
this is awesome. All right. So you guys have a good one, and we will see you on the next one.